On tonight's episode of The Six, has the red pill, yeah, we're going to say it, has it gone mainstream? What with Fresh and Fit going viral every other week, hit pieces, and Kevin Samuels, we are going to discuss whether or not the red pill has gone mainstream and if this helps or hurts the community. The panel discusses next. The Six starts right now. Episode 1. So I've got the AFC Championship game on here in the background, so anyone who hasn't discovered technology yet, I'll be giving updates, probably just by my expressions. Let's not waste any time. Let us introduce tonight's esteemed panelists. First on the show, of course, is the one and only Coach Everett Overton out in the 3-1-2. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good to see the crew back. We got a great show tonight. Shout out to Rollo Tomasi. He's kind of a new addition, but everybody knows who he is. So I look forward to his commentary. Jap, what's good, my brother?
What on, big dog?
Yes, sir.
Hotep, Kevin, and of course DS. So yeah, man, let's get it going.
All right, next is the official ordained minister of the streets. It's Minister Jap. I gotta add Jap to the. Oh, there it is.
Man. Hey, man, I appreciate being on the panel, man. Man, I guess I'm a veteran at this point.
Yeah, listen, you're an OG at this point, man.
Yeah.
You've been on the Six since the first.
Appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
I tell you, I'm not familiar with EO as much as I am with you, Mr. Jap. I follow you on Instagram, so I've been watching your stuff for a while now. So
I see.
I'll definitely come on whenever you want me to. That you just give the word.
All right,
very nice, man. Very nice. I remember, Rollo, when you and I were on, I had Minister Jap on, and people in Jap's comment section were like, holy shit, who is this guy? We're like, dude, that's the Godfather. Next, the man who is the reason why they called Tony Stark the White Hotep Jesus. It's Hotep Jesus. What's going on, brother?
That Hotep Jesus dude.
Hotep. What's up?
Shout out to King Nasheed.
We back, baby. This panel has gotten a lot wider since I first started. There
yes,
must
it
be
has.
Some reverse affirmative action happening over there.
There's
with
a lot of light skin in the room.
I got to turn out light in here.
Welcome to Rollo. Good to be side by side with you, bro.
Yes.
Welcome.
Always.
Absolutely, man. Next, of course, is the Mark Wahlberg of the Manosphere. It is Kevin Savo.
That's flattering. I'd more say like the Billy the Kid of the Manosphere, right?
I don't know. Maybe, listen. You remind me of Mark Wahlberg. You're short, you're muscular, you like to make films, and you rap. And you're from the Northeast. It doesn't really get any more Mark Wahlberg than that. But welcome to the panel, man.
I appreciate it.
You gotta remix that Good Vibration song now.
Yeah, I was just singing that shit in my head.
Very
Ain't
nice.
EO the blackest Greek dude you ever seen?
Dude, he is he is absolutely awesome. And last but certainly not least, the Godfather of the Manosphere. It is the one and only Rollo Tomasi. What's going on, brother?
Hey,
y'all.
There you go. You expect that from me. So. I'm doing good. I just got done doing 2 hours on my show, and I'm hopefully everybody's gonna find their way over to this side of things. So
yeah, we've got the word out.
I told everybody, and I was up to almost like 2,000 live views. So I think we'll get some overflow.
Yes, let's do it.
I'm glad to be here, man. I like panel shows. Rule Zero,
of course.
And
that other one,
it's always a pleasure, especially with Hotep Jesus, because we go back. People don't know how far back we go, but we go back.
People, you know what? It's funny, man. A lot of our critics and detractors always say, why does this? Someone actually, Heather said, someone in the comments says, why does this dude Donovan talk about Myron Gaines so much? Dude, I've known Myron since he called himself Amru Fuddle back when he worked for the, for Homeland Security. Guys, got to do your research. Invocator, $10 says, drop your wallets off, guys. Value for value. And with that said, we're going to come to Rolo first. What is your opinion on whether or not the red pill has gone mainstream? Some people say it has, some people say it hasn't. What say you?
I think that the idea of I don't say if the red pill has gone mainstream, but I would say that like the awareness of intersexual dynamics right now is most definitely becoming something of a popular topic amongst more mainstream shows. And by that I mean, like, I just did 2 hours on my show, and I broke down the video of Matt Walsh talking to the bearded lady like 2 weeks ago, or whatever that whole thing. And you and I, by the way, we talk about like, has it gone mainstream? You and I both turned down the Dr. Phil show.
That's right. That's right.
How many people really know that? But that was back in August of 2020.
Yes.
And it was right after the Tommy Lahren. I think I did a show on her, and they hit me up, and then they hit you up right after I had turned them down. And so is it going mainstream because I'm getting the producers of Dr. Phil calling me up, or you? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just they want, a blood sport on their show. But I think that the topics are most definitely becoming a little bit more popularly recognized, let's say.
Okay.
So if I look at like, say, the roommates, for example, are the roommates mainstream? Because I don't know how we're going to evaluate what's mainstream and what's not mainstream. So if I go on Fresh and Fit, am I mainstream? If I go on, I was just on You Are Here with Elijah Schaefer went to the Blaze Studios.
Yes.
Are they mainstream? Like, I want to know what mainstream is before I can really give you a definitive answer.
That makes sense. By the way, no word on your invite from Tim Pool. Just putting
you know what? At this stage, I probably would turn it down.
I'm putting it out there. There it is on the record. Rolo would
Logan, but I wouldn't go on Tim Pool right now. Because is it me, or does it seem like Tim Pool's kind of like phoning it in these days?
Some days I watch and it looks like he's phoning it in, but then other days I'm like, okay, but that's like, I don't know, that's maybe like 1 out of 7 shows. It's like he puts the pedal to the metal on one show, and then the other 6 he just kind of phones it in. Listen, he's got success.
I think as far as like red pill topics being popular, is maybe that's going a little more mainstream, because I see Tim leaning into stuff like that occasionally whenever it's going to play well.
Okay.
Like for instance, the Dr. Phil thing that was going on with Matt Walsh.
Yes.
Now, is Matt Walsh red pill? Absolutely not. But that's a topic talking about that kind of relates to that. So,
Okay, very good. Let's go to Hotep Jesus. Hotep, is the red pill, is TRP going mainstream or nah?
Well, Rolo brought up a very interesting point, right? Like, what does it mean to be mainstream, right? So I'd like to pull up my first piece of evidence here to make my case.
Okay, let's do it.
This is an article here on a Miss Janice Rogers Brown. Now, we know that recently Jab Crow Joe, aka President Joe Biden, was he was virtue signaling about appointing a black woman to SCOTUS, the Supreme Court, giving her a seat. And I made a video talking about how he wouldn't allow a conservative or Republican woman to do that. So the internets did some digging, and they discovered this woman by the name of Janice Rogers Brown. So I did my research on Miss Janice Rogers Brown, who is extremely intelligent, and some people would say a radical conservative. I would say she's a very honed in and focused conservative.
Okay.
But there's an article here from the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, and this sentence right here gives you an idea of what mainstream means. And it says, Janice Rogers Brown has often been the lone justice to dissent on the California Supreme Court, illustrating that her judicial philosophy is outside the mainstream. So, when the liberals, the Democrats, the socialists, communists say something is mainstream, what I have just tweeted out was mainstream means progressive, which means liberal, which means socialist, which means communist.
Gotcha.
So to be mainstream isn't exactly a good thing. To be mainstream would be to be normie and the opposite of red pill.
Okay, I like that. That's actually a very good definition of mainstream. EO, what are your thoughts? And I like how you're rocking the old school Fila. That shit is fucking fly.
Appreciate it.
I need that.
Yeah, man. I've been doing a lot of Fila lately. So
yes, sir.
The first thing that came to mind when I saw this this title was movies that sprinkle red pill in them. One of the first movies that came to mind that I watched recently was a Kevin Bacon film called You Should Have Left.
Oh, very red pill, yes.
Yeah, there was a red pill movie. So Hollywood is starting to sprinkle it in their films, and they have been for quite some time. It's just, are you picking up on it? Are you willing to acknowledge it honestly?
Right.
And so I have a list here of a few that have come to mind. American Psycho was a very red pill film with Christian Bale. Fight Club, clearly. Obviously, The Matrix has a lot of red pill reference. They Live is an 80s film that clearly was introducing some of the red pill philosophies. American Beauty was another one, a very, very red pill movie. Although they presented it quite well, they packaged it in a way that most people would feel a little more comfortable. Patton, Gone Girl was also another movie. Falling Down is one of my favorite films of all time. Falling Down, Michael Douglas.
Oh, yes.
Yes. They've been sprinkling it in. It's been around for a long time. It's just, are you seeing it?
Okay, very good. I like that. You have to recognize it, and only men who look at things through the red pill lens can recognize this stuff. We're gonna go to Jap and then Savo. All right, Jap. Is the red pill mainstream, or I mean, according to Hotep, that's really not a good thing? Agree or disagree?
I don't think. Okay, I agree with what Hotep said about mainstream being kind of watered down. Is going to be like the social norm. I don't think that this will be, but I think that those different platforms and avenues are going to reach for us because they're getting actually canceling themselves out by being overly offended. Everything's sensitive, everything's saturated with weak shit, and they need to find different things to actually talk about, and we're just that different. So for instance, like Essence, I think it's Essence or Ebony Magazine. They just did a piece on Obsidian, Dr. Thunder.
What?
My man, Mr. Palmer. It was the brush, and with Kevin Samuels too. They was talking about the lady was talking about her brush with the Black Manosphere. So they're looking to find other stuff. So we kind of like the underground rap.
All right.
When you have Vanilla Ice and it was just so boring.
Fushnikins?
But what ends up happening is that we create our own industry here and then we make it bigger. So we would have to come up with our own television network because it wouldn't fit. Like we would be the Fox News compared to the NBC.
Oh, wow.
So we would have to get off of just the internet and just writing books and being in like forums and stuff like that. Once we get on television and able to be on radio and represent this well, I think
oh my God,
representation of articulating our points. I just don't want to see when we do get people up there to not water the message down to appease
or bastardize the message. That's what we're going to talk about next.
Right. Yeah. So just logical men is a new thing. They never seen it. They never seen men with a spine before, and it's shocking. So we kind of like the new shock, the shock
jocks. Savo, what are your thoughts? Has the red pill gone mainstream, or are we still sort of underground?
Again, if you want to be technical in terms of the definition of mainstream, it hasn't gone mainstream. If it enters the mainstream, it gets used to make a point, or it's used in a slanderous way, right? If it's invited into the mainstream, it's to make a point about misogynistic men.
Bingo.
Or it's used to make a point about how they represent it as an ideology that's harmful, or it's anti-feminist. I think the reason the conversation comes up in the first place, right, is because we do have a little bit of a different definition of mainstream, so to speak. So let's say if we're talking the slang way of phrasing mainstream, as I tend to phrase it that way myself when I think of things like Andrew Schultz, when I think of things like No Jumper.
Yes.
And I think that's the only reason this conversation comes up, right? The only reason to entertain the idea that red pill may have gone mainstream is when you see Fresh and Fit appear on No Jumper, on Andrew Schultz, when you see that what's the site I'm thinking of? You'll see Kevin Samuels shared on
Media Takeout, Bossa.
Oh yeah, TS the Shade Room.
Give me the big one. I don't know why I'm blanking on this. The big one.
Oh, TMZ.
You talking about World Star? You talking about World Star?
Oh, World Star. Yes,
you know
of
what I
course.
mean? It'll enter more popular circuits. So then we perceive it as being more in the popular consciousness. But for the most part, when you look at, like, let's take something like Andrew Schultz. I'm watching that interview of when they're really going at Fresh and Fit.
Flagrant too. Yeah.
I'm thinking that because Andrew Schultz is a little bit more mainstream leaning. In terms of, like, you'll see him on Joe Rogan, you'll see him on the biggest of underground platforms that you almost can't call underground anymore because they become so popular and they become so sponsored.
Right.
It looks to me like even a comedian feels like I still have to be painted in a light that the mainstream can kind of fuck with, because if I'm not, it seems like there's something to lose. It seems like, is there an endorsement that could be lost? Is there a sponsor that could be lost? It seems just mainstream enough that, you know, when we turn the cameras off and guys want to act like guys, you know, then it's like, all right, we're not having this locker room talk in the public eye. But once the cameras roll, it seems like on the part of programs like that, there's a little bit of sponsorship and there's a little bit of consciousness of what could be lost by agreeing with such controversial ideas.
Wow, there we go.
That's a bar right there, Savo. That's a bar right there, Savo.
I'm the young guy.
I feel myself losing money every time I open my mouth on YouTube.
He's right. And here's the thing. Oh, go ahead, Jeff. You got something?
Just to piggyback off what he said, like, yes, we get invited to these so-called mainstream media outlets like, you know, Fox Soul or like even The View.
Yes, right.
These different people, they become, I forgot what you kind of call it, where like an echo chamber, where it's just a bunch of women saying, everybody's saying the same thing, all this progressive woke shit, all of that. So they got to invite a Ron Paul on there and gang up on him.
Right.
You know, they got to invite Donald Trump Jr. on the View show to gang up on him because they don't have any opponents.
Nope.
It becomes boring. So we actually bring a level of excitement, but in a sense, we're getting exposure, but we're still kind of getting used because they get to twist it how they want. That's the reason why you said you didn't want to do Dr. Phil.
Right.
You know, because they got the ability with the bigger mics and they got the editors. It's not live.
Nope.
So they got the ability to depict this how they want it to be. And the only way we can really, truly go mainstream is to have our own real network. So
I agree.
Be something to that.
Rollo, let me come to you with this because one of the main reasons why the red pill gets such a bad rap is because we have been co-opted by some fucking mental idiots. I'm just going to say their names. Anthony Johnson is fucking, dude, he's public enemy number one. This dude has given this community such a bad name with his antics, his disingenuous hit pieces. This dude has been on the news. Then you've got guys like MGTOW Dictionary. And then, of course, you have your low-level MGTOWs who are perpetrating as MGTOWs, but they're really black pill guys. What, in your opinion, who are the guys to look out for? What kind of red pill content do we have to look out for that are giving us a bad name?
I would watch out for. I like what you said. I think we need to be careful of who's going to be our representatives, right?
Yep.
I mean, prior to 2020, I think, you know, Kevin Samuels, who was, you know, we hold. I mean, he's the Black Godfather, right?
Yeah, right.
He was, you know, selling men's fragrances right up until that point, right? Or you have, and I'm not saying, you know, I disagree with what he says. I'm just saying that let's look at the background there.
Sure.
Who is representing the red pill, quote, you know, whatever we're going to describe as a red pill? Who is the representative of that right now? It's Myron and Fresh, right?
Yes, that's right.
They're going out to big names. And then also, you were there in March last year when I was on there, and they asked me the same question. They said, "Do you think the red pill's going mainstream?" And what did I say? I said, "I hope not."
Yes, you
For
did.
the same reason that Minister Jab was talking about, and Hotep as well, is like, first of all, what is mainstream, and then second of all, if it is, then who are the people going in on the front lines, right? Who are going on these shows and like representing as sort of the red pill? And I think it's kind of hard to point out who's going to sort of be the flag waver of that, you know, of this, because I think people tend to see the red pill as this movement or this ideology, and I just spent 2 hours saying it's not. It's a praxeology, and we start talking about things in terms of like we live in an age of feels before reels. Well, we're the reels side of that. And the mainstream tends to be in the feels side of that. So it's emotionalism versus sort of this rational, reasonable, empirical side of things. And that's where that conflict comes. That's why you say, Minister Jap, when you're talking about how we get these echo chambers, or you see that's why Dr. Phil comes to us, because they want conflict. And you don't get conflict if everybody's on the emotional side of the argument. And you don't get conflict if everybody's on the rational side of the that. Right. You only get that when those two come together. You want to know why Fresh and Fit is really hard to replicate for most people is because they're the irrational, reasonable, empirical side. And here you bring on night after night, you bring women, all these women on these shows, and they have pretty much the same kind of conversation over and over again.
That's right.
But the reason it's popular is because you've got guys who are saying, well, here's the stats, here's the data, here's statistically speaking, this is where you're going to be at. Women's standards are delusional, and here's why, and we can point out, and
even the calculator
point where there's that conflict there. If you just bring women in, like say, I see the roommates doing this right now, or I see Saint and Sinner, those guys, they bring women in just like Fresh and Fit. They try to arrange it just the same way, but it's not as effective because it's like, we're going to give you a chance. We're on your side, ladies. Well, that's right. Boring. That's boring as hell.
That's right.
So who are the people that are going onto these mainstream sites to sort of be the voice of reason on these sites? That's why the whole thing with was it Flagrant 2?
Yes.
And even Brittany Renner. What did Brittany Renner start out when she was on with DJ Academics, and she had the Fresh and Fit guys on there.
Yeah.
First thing out of her mouth is like, "Who hurt you?"
Yes, right, right.
Out of her mouth is like, does it make you feel good?
How does it make you feel?
Like me, that kind of stuff. And he starts in this emotional side of things. And that's why that's a good interview, because there's that conflict there. Because what you're seeing really in the mainstream with respect to the red pill is the conflict of people going like Matt Walsh, for example, talking to the bearded lady. He's bringing sort of this, you are a male, you are biologically male, right? I know that's hard for you to accept. And then there's the opposite side where it's like this social construction is, it's all relative, and it's factual, it's all
fluid,
and it's all feels and reals. And that's that you want to know why they're taking note, like the mainstream's taking note of this.
Why?
Because there's a lot of money in that conflict between emotionalism versus empiricism. And so that's what's making it sort of unignorable at this stage. And then you get the guys like, for instance, Matt Walsh is a good example of this as well on his own show. But you get the guys who are very, very concerned. They're the concern trolls right now.
For the
Lost Boys generation. There's only 40% of men are enrolling in college now, and 60, 65, whatever it is, percent is women. And what is it? By 30, they're still going to be single and childless. Rise of the She kind of, there's all kinds of data sets that you can start these shows about. And it all comes back to, well, men need to man up. They need to take responsibility. And that up narrative sounds really good, but it's still rooted in the fact that they don't care about guys. They don't care about the Lost Boys generation. They care about those guys manning up so that the women of that same generation will have somebody. It's not about the men's state. It's about women's state. And if women's state is inconvenienced by Lost Boys, then they're going to be concerned about Lost Boys.
Very, very well said. And
I want to put something on the table.
Yeah, go ahead, Jap. We'll go Jap and then Hotep. Go ahead, man.
Okay. All right. Now, not to get racial, but
do it. But hold up.
All right.
The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Let him know something, Jap. Let him know something. Hold up.
I call Brother Myron the Sambo from Sudan.
Let him know something. You want to get racial? Let's get racial, goddamn.
All right, so look.
Damn right.
But like, it seems like we all kind of watch the same content, the same media.
Of course.
Like, okay, let's go back to the Dr. Phil show.
Okay.
What's his name? Matt Walsh?
Matt Walsh. Yeah.
Okay, when he was
Matt Walsh.
interviewing the bearded lady. But before that was an interview with Angela Stanton King, which is a black lady who has a transgender son.
Oh, boy.
Now, she has red pill thinking. Very, very logical. She was running for Congress or something to that degree. Trump even gave her a pardon. And she was saying pretty much every talking point that he said. But when she said it, she was attacked. And was seen to be like she hates her son, she hates gays, she hates this. But when the white guy said it, it was cool. So what I'm thinking is, white guys with red pill knowledge is going to have to get on TV first to pave the way for us, because I don't think that the media is ready for black energy talking to that degree, because we still don't have a black Howard Stern yet. And Howard Stern is the shit. You know, we still don't have one.
Well, the closest person to a black Howard Stern, it's probably, what, Tommy Sotomayor? Maybe?
But I'm saying Howard Stern was on television.
Yeah,
network deals.
He was mainstream.
Even when you had Star from Hot 97, it was just too much. I think the blueprint got to be laid so y'all can take the bullets first, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And let us know how this shit goes, you know what I'm saying? Because it just seems like it was received better coming from y'all as opposed to the urban community.
Real talk, before I go to Hotep.
I actually, Well, I was actually going to give him a name. I was going to give him a quick name of a white man that has been doing it for quite some time. Is Mark Rudolph.
Oh,
he's been kicking major red pill game for a long time, all over the news.
What is
wow!
So one professor from Canada is Peterson something?
Yeah, Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson's kind of a.
Dude, he's the perfect person to get us through the door.
Yeah, but look at how that went for
Unfortunately, that's not going. Yeah, I was gonna say that's not going too well for him.
I understand the template.
Transgenders. I'm sorry.
I understand the template. I understand the need for that. I don't think Jordan Peterson is certainly not the person to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, Jap. I can just real quick. I completely disagree with that. I completely disagree with that. I think anybody brings red pill into the mainstream, and I think they're going to get treated the same way for the most part. Sometimes I think a black guy might have an easier time with it, because if it's a white guy saying it, it's like, oh, more angry white shit. Why don't you stack a red pill on top?
Listen, Savo, you're absolutely right. Case in point, the last time I was on Fresh and Fit, Troy and I were saying literally exactly the same thing. But I mean, listen, I'm kind of a cocky.
Goes down a little easier, right?
Yeah, because Troy is basically the James Bond of the red pill, right? Like, that's just who he is. He's a good-looking guy. He's got the British accent. Here I am. I'm this black guy who sounds like a white guy. I'm cocky. I'm arrogant. You can't tell me shit. So forth. It's not going to go down easy. So Hotep, Jat mentioned something.
I want to clear something up.
Yeah, go ahead. Do it. Do it. Clear it up.
Because I'm with Jap on this.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm gonna tell you what the difference is.
Okay.
A black man gonna deliver it different. It's not about skin color. It's about
the delivery.
The fact that the way we deliver shit ain't how a white man deliver this shit. Okay,
Nope.
It comes off completely different. Now, Savo, he a little black.
Come on.
No, we can't send Savo out there. We can't send.
We can't send EO out there either. If we're gonna do it like that,
we can't send EO out there. We gonna have to send.
Well, I have a couple suits, and I'm gonna shave this beard off when I go. So,
we send EO.
I can whip up an image real quick.
Fam, we send EO in undercover. We send him in undercover. We gotta
fade to Hotel. It's gotta be Rolo.
I don't want to name names, but on February 8th, I think I don't know if Donovan knows who I'm talking about, but February 8th is going to be a game changer, I think, for my channel, really for the red pill in general. Don't say who it is. I can't say it until they announce it, but you want the mainstream and you want a white man on the mainstream? Yep, that's going to be me.
That's going to
guys, you got to remember something. Things are so fucked up right now. White women are calling us angry white men.
It's ridiculous.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's ridiculous.
Things are so fucked up racially right now. You got fucking white girls talking like they're Chuck D. I'm like, bitch, what are you up with this shit? Like,
but that's how it is.
Lately, fucking Diane.
I'm not gonna lie. The woke community has made people denounce their whiteness.
It has. It really, really has, man. It's incredible, and it's really because let's go old school. It's because of the SJW type stuff. Yeah. So we're gonna go Hotep, then EO, and then Savo. What are your thoughts, Hotep, on people who misrepresent this community? What are the dangers? Maybe are there any advantages? What do you think?
Okay, so where there is a pot, there needs a Hotep Jesus to stir it.
Yes, sir. I love it. Let's stir it.
I'm gonna grab my spoon right now. I'm gonna stick it in the pot, and I'm about to stir it up. Chat, I need you to have a seat. I I need you to grab your nuts and make sure they're still there. So when I say this, I don't want to see your bitch ass crying in the comments.
Let's do it.
For the people that watch the replay, I don't want to hear your bitch ass comments in the comments either. Are you ready?
We ready, man.
Yep.
Let's do it.
You know who misrepresents the red pill?
Oh shit. Who?
I'ma say it.
Say it.
I'ma say it.
Ooh, I'm dying to know now.
Take your time. Take your time.
Take your time, bro.
Fresh and fit.
Oh!
Okay, explain.
Now it's a conversation. Now it's a conversation.
Explain.
See, I let the black guy say it.
See? Right? Right.
Explain.
I can't say it.
I think I know what you're gonna say though, because I saw that episode you were talking about.
Myron got to tone it down.
You mean Frank Castle?
He's got to study his elders. He's got to study Donovan. He's got to study Rolo. He's got to study EO, and he's got to study Kevin Samuels.
Tom Likas.
Huh?
You got to study Tom Likas too.
Okay. He's just he he caters to, I would say, any male under 25.
Okay.
After 25, you're just way too mature for Myron.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Myron's rhetoric is on point.
Every time, man. He's getting better too, man.
He doesn't say the wrong things.
The delivery.
His delivery, it just like I know a whole bunch of grown men, and they like, yo, yeah, the show cool, but I can't watch it. And they can't watch it because you're speaking to people who are immature. And that's my only issue. Okay. It's just like he speaks like a kid that just got out of high school, and I know he's not out of college, and I know he's not that, right? He also comes off as somebody who has been hurt by women instead of somebody who hurts women. You know what I mean? And I don't mean physically.
No, I understand. He doesn't have enough stoicism and resolve in his red pill. I agree with you 100%. And I think this will come with age, because if you go back and you watch some of my early episodes, like my episodes in the 100, dude, I was the fucking flamethrower. I acted like I had been, I think this just comes with age. Myron, I think
what he's trying to say is he's coming off like, what's my man who just lost to Tyson Fury?
Deontay Wilder, you're talking about?
He's just throwing wild haymakers.
Yeah.
Nest it a little bit more and start boxing. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'll put it to you this way. I agree with what you're saying, Hotep. But I think that's also a good thing, because young guys don't watch guys like us, right? If anybody wants an introduction to the red pill, the first thing they need to do is they need to read The Rational Male, just so that they get sort of a rudimentary understanding of the sexual marketplace here in the 21st century. At that point, rather than going down the rabbit hole of the MGTOW and the black pill guys, you need to, if you're a young guy, you got to watch Fresh and Fit, because what Myron and Fresh are doing, they are literally verifying what guys like myself and Rolo and Roosh and all of the OGs, what we've been talking about since 2002, Rolo, when you were on So Suave. Rolo's been talking about this stuff for over 2 decades. Myron and Fresh are the first guy. Well, Myron, Fresh, and then Kevin to a different degree. These girls are verifying exactly what they're saying: hypergamy, branch swinging, the whole nine. So while I agree that Myron could definitely use a little bit of seasoning, but I think that will come with age and experience. And Rolo, in that famous car ride on the way to South Beach, when we talked about everything, you said, I told Myron and Fresh, it's too much, too fast. Myron,
too young, too fast.
Too much, too young, too fast. And if we know anything about Myron, if he sees a deficiency, he's smart enough to fix it very, very quickly. He used to kick bitches out all the time. He said, okay, this is really starting to affect us negatively. He still kicks out disrespect to people, but he gives them a little bit more leeway. So I agree with you, Hotep. I think they're young. They're young, dumb, and full of cum, but at this point, they are kind of the representative of us all, at least for the young guys. Then when they mature, when they figure, okay, women really aren't out to get us, it really just kind of depends on who you are, then you come and watch the Six, and you watch Hotep, you watch EO, and you watch Rolo, et cetera, et cetera.
Also, I might have spoke too fast on the Dr. Peterson thing. I just watched like about 6 of his videos with him going against feminists. I just loved it. So I don't know if he says the red pill or whatever like that. I just took it like, yo, this guy's the shit. That's what I like.
Before we go to EO, let me go to Rolo. You disagree fundamentally a lot with some of the things that Jordan Peterson says.
Yeah.
In your opinion, and we'll go EO and then Savo after this. In your opinion, is Jordan Peterson a red pill guy, or is he something a little different?
No, I mean, in some ways, I guess he speaks the right language. Like, you got to remember how Jordan Peterson was just a clinical psychologist who was working at
University of Toronto.
Yeah, right. Up until like 2017, whatever. And he reached stardom because there happened to be a viral video of him saying, "No, I'm not going to use your pronouns."
I'm not going to use your pronouns. Yeah.
But like now that's old news. Like Matt Walsh goes on Dr. Phil and says more or less the same thing, and he's not Jordan Peterson's level.
No, he's not.
I think that the demographic that needed a Jordan Peterson saw their champion, right? They saw their hero right there and tried to turn him into that. And so he went from making $200,000 a year to making $80,000 a month on Patreon as a result of that. And so he kind of became this phenomenon. And I'm not saying, he doesn't have some things to say. He does. I just didn't think he was like as red pill as everybody wanted to turn him out to be.
Okay.
Because he had a good message, like, oh, get back to church and do this. It was
clean
very
your room,
responsibility and stuff. And people were ready for that. They wanted that. He was in the right place at the right time. And he built an army based on being in the right place at the right time. Now, he's gone to rehab. He's come back from Russia. The Jordan Peterson of 2022 is not the Jordan Peterson of 2018.
No, that's for sure.
He is a brand juggernaut right now, and he is all brand at this point, rather than like what he might have had something to say in the past. So is he red pill? I mean, you could make the case that when it comes to like being anti-wokey, then yeah. But if you're gonna, he wants to talk about individualism versus tribalism. I'll talk about that all day long. We can talk about hypergamy. He only focuses on the beta buck side of hypergamy. So there's a lot of disagreement that I have with Jordan Peterson. But honestly, I think it's more about him being in the hustle economy, and that was another thing, by the way, what I was saying about why the red pill shouldn't go like totally mainstream. Because what happens is, and I've told you this before, is you become your brand.
Right.
You become Donovan Sharp. You become Rollo Tomassi rather than who we really, what our real names are and everything. And so we're constantly working on our brand. And what happens is when you have disagreements between a red pill brand here and a red pill brand here, and you have a disagreement, it's not man versus man, it's brand versus brand.
Right.
And that opens up a whole new can of worms for you.
Okay, very good. Well said. Okay, EO, let's get back to the misrepresentation of the red pill. So what do you think, if anything, is a I mean, you don't have to name names, but representations of the red pill and why it can be bad for this particular community?
Yeah. Two things came to mind when that question was posed. Have you ever been around an annoying Christian that kind of just like became a Christian? Like they want to tell everybody, they want to tell you everything you're doing wrong, they want to expose everything you're doing wrong. They're trying to like pull your arm toward becoming saved, and it's very annoying and
very
it's
annoying.
Like counterproductive. And so I see that in like these, and here's another movie reference, Twilight. I don't know if you've ever seen Twilight.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But the vampires were like different stages. They were like a newborn when they first became a vampire, and they're just reckless. They're not disciplined. They're destroying things. They're also like exposing themselves to the public.
Right.
Whereas like the more seasoned vampires, like the Volturi, they're like the wise counsel. And so that's what I see with a lot of these red pill boys, is that it's like they found a community that they can resonate with. And also, the more you judge a woman harshly, you're not going to get far with her.
No.
I think like the more seasoned red pill content creators and business people, it would be in your best interest to actually understand her mindset, how she got there due to a lot of social and cultural conditioning, just like we did as men. We were lied to as well. So you have to kind of take that into consideration when you're talking to a woman, what she's talking about. She was conditioned to think that way. And so you have to kind of like say, okay, listen, I understand where you're coming from. I understand why you made that decision, but allow me to explain to you where you could have done better. So I think the approach has to be more mature. And the reference that came to mind was an annoying new Christian that's wants everybody to conform to Christianity.
Yes.
And he's actually pushing everybody away from it. And two, it's like that newborn vampire that is undisciplined, wants to tell everybody about it. You're kind of like blowing your cover, as the minute alluded to earlier, that it's kind of an underground thing. And whereas like the more seasoned vampire, they can control their thirst. It's just a wiser, more balanced presentation that has a different end in mind when they're talking to people.
Okay.
Different end in mind.
Okay.
That's what I would say about that.
Okay. Breaking news. The Cincinnati Bengals.
Vampire.
The Cincinnati Bengals. Listen, the Cincinnati Bengals have upset the Kansas City Chiefs, and they are headed to Super Bowl 56.
Mac. I just like to say that Anthony Bailey from our company, menoforder.com, predicted the Bengals win based upon the fact that this year is moving into a Tiger year based upon the Chinese New Year.
Hey, the LSU Tigers. Wow, dude, this is Joe Burrow's second season. Okay, let's go to Savo. Savo, how dangerous is it that this community is misrepresented by people who really do have influence?
It's pretty bad because the mainstream media is going to need a boogeyman. Always.
Yes, they are.
At the moment, I'd have to agree. Fresh and Fit are falling right into it.
Yeah.
And I don't dislike those guys. I don't dislike the show, but they've created this flashiness of the red pill. It's kind of funny, actually. The red pill has like a Tonight Show now. Basically, when we're not bringing on the girls to shit on them, they're bringing on you guys, and it's the red pill has like a Johnny Carson. Like if you were a comedian back in the day, the big thing was to get to Johnny Carson, and you could do your stand-up act, and then if he called you over, it meant he really liked it.
Right.
And now PUAs and red pill cats have their Johnny Carson, and it's like tonight we're bringing on this one and that one, and that's all good and well, and that's cool, but the problem with Myron and Fresh is, well, like one of them can't articulate himself at all, it doesn't seem, and then the other one doesn't articulate himself terribly well in debate. And a lot of what
are you talking about Myron? Because if you're talking about Myron, I disagree. I think Myron does very well articulating himself in debate. Or am I?
He articulates. Well, what I mean by that is he articulates himself well in debate, but his points are. Here's what I'm saying. Tactic when it comes to debate.
Okay.
A debate is the skill of debate is a skill in and of itself.
Okay.
The skill of debate is so seasoned that if you're really seasoned in debate, you can out debate somebody without the truth, without being right.
Yeah, that's not
without being right, without, so that's the whole thing. I'd say Kevin Samuels is skilled in debate first. Then you listen to make up what you make of what he's actually saying as a side effect of the fact that he'll always take someone down in debate.
Sure.
But I think what's going on in mainstream now is I do believe, from my perspective, if you put Myron up against somebody that's louder, more seasoned in debate tactic, they're going to seemingly get the upper hand on him.
Sure.
Where he's got a little bit more of a laid-back approach and presents the information, but somebody else is verbally bodying him. And to a mainstream audience, they're like, oh, okay, it looks like they got the better of these red pill guys.
Well, I'll tell you what. Hold on real quick, and I'll let you continue. Brittany Renner tried to body Myron. Myron overcame that, and she was eating out of his hand. What was his name? Akash. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Public eye.
Okay, so you're not talking about something live. You're talking about these shows like Dr. Phil. They'll never show us where Myron overcomes these sorts of things. In other words, that's what you're talking about.
I'm talking about Brittany Renner articulated herself well enough, as opposed to a chick from the nightclub that comes on Fresh and Fit and is starstruck to be on a podcast and cat got her tongue. You know what I mean?
It's the one big key component. I love what Fresh and Fit doing, because I know it's paving the way for me to polish what I'm doing.
Sure.
Because I've always had I'm trying to figure out if I'm going too rough. So once I watch how they get it and they get it mastered, I can make sure to do what they.
And this is, guys, listen. This is gonna take time. Myron and Fresh are still very new at this, and they're both very, very young.
1 year.
Yeah. 1 year into this.
There's a difference between Kevin Samuels' debates and a Fresh and
Of course,
Fit.
Kevin Samuels is in his early 50s.
It's the easiest way to you got
seasoned vampire.
Yes. Debating sober women.
Right.
Yes.
Myron and Fresh are debating a room of women that are drinking. So when you add the element of liquor in there, you're going to get the women that act crazy, which is great.
Well, drunk actions are sober thoughts, and I'm gonna tell you. Well, hold on.
You know that women don't think well.
Listen, you're absolutely right. But alcohol lowers your inhibitions, which makes you far less likely to be deceptive. I'm not, and I know you're not trying to discredit what they're doing.
No. I think the women are being extremely honest. I just think that it gets too turned up too fast when they're wrong. because the liquor's involved.
Yeah. Now that I would agree with, but that's part of the charm. I watched.
I love it.
They're Rolo, dude. Rolo literally just switched it up, man. It's almost we're gonna end this here. We're gonna end this here pretty soon because I can't miss 2 games.
Could I squeeze in one last thought?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think overall, in a way, from where we stand right now, this is just my personal opinion.
Okay.
The best red pill concepts, the best red pill material, and the most helpful red pill material, as it drifts towards the mainstream, in my opinion, at this moment, it's best served indirectly.
Yep.
Whereas, like, I'm only here because you guys are my friends. I never aimed to do this. Most of my red pill content, if you want to call it that, is indirect. It's done with nuance, and it's done in storytelling and film.
Right.
I'm not big on sitting down and having the conversation all the time, because once you do, everybody aims to misconstrue your words. But I have an analogy that goes like this. Billy Joel is indirectly political, but he never set out to be a political artist.
Okay.
Sylvester Stallone is a hardcore Christian. You would never know it because it's indirect. He'll have like the image of Christ come down on,
or he'll wear a
Rocky.
Crucifix.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
But if he's asked about it, he doesn't get hardcore Christian about it. And then I want to say guys like Chris Rock or Eddie Murphy are indirectly red pill. In other words, it creeps in and it becomes easily digestible because it's done in the format of entertainment. But they didn't set out to have a career in just preaching red pill. Now, when you're able to digest it with laughs and a story, or something served up front, and it's a side dish to that serving, I see it as being quite digestible and quite reasonable. And sometimes that's why I think Kevin Samuels has a shot at being more respected than Fresh and Fit, is because the age factor, the well put together debates, the debate tactic, and then the fact that there's this vibe that it's kind of like not something too far off from something your father would say, as opposed to like maybe Fresh and Fit or like your older brothers that know more than you, but you respect your father more than your older brothers.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I would also say at the end, listen, we're trying to help people, but there's an undertone of business. And I think Myron is keenly aware, because he talks about it all the time. There are memes about it. When they have Money Mondays or they talk about real estate, how to build your credit, they have like 90-something people watching. But when it's heated debate with, 14 Miami bimbos, it's standing room only. So while I can certainly agree with the fact that, how can I put this? Now, you have to understand this, too. A lot of these girls on Fresh and Fit are saying exactly the same things that they're saying on Kevin Samuels. The difference is they're just a little bit older, but they are still as delusional, and I'm assuming that there's no alcohol involved. So, and I'm not saying that anyone is discrediting, I'm not saying that anyone here is discrediting what they're doing. I'm just saying, give them time. What Myron and Fresh have accomplished in just over a year is nothing short of spectacular. And once they get things really, really dialed in, I think they'll be unstoppable. But I agree with Hotep and I agree with Rolo. You cannot be Canelo Alvarez in 2013, feeling yourself and challenging the undefeated Mayweather. Canelo was not ready for that fight against Mayweather. Fernando Vargas was not ready for that fight against Oscar De La Hoya. He was never the same since. So right now, Myron and Fresh are that undefeated heavyweight who's knocking everybody out right now. But you don't want to challenge for the title too soon, because if you lose too soon or too horribly, it's going to take a while for public perception to give you that shot again. So they need a little bit more seasoning. I think in about a year and a half or so, hopefully they will have learned the lessons that they've learned from the whole Ob and Preach thing last summer. And you're starting to see some of the residuals of that as well.
I think the perception side of things is really important to keep in mind here as well, because
yes.
For instance, Myron and Fresh can go places that I can't go.
That's right.
Essentially they're saying the same things I've been talking about since 2002.
Yes, right.
Certainly since the book was published. So 2013.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And so they can go places that I can't go, and I can go places that they can't go.
Yes,
right?
of course.
So and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just we're go out into the world, my sons. But like I think what Hotep was just saying a minute ago is like public perception is really all that matters. And I didn't mean to lock horns with DJ Academics, but I called that out when I saw it when he does this episode with Brittany Renner. Now we've already done the breakdowns of that, and the only thing anybody remembers is the 1:30 clip that he put on Instagram, which he's got 4.6 million followers. I don't know how many he's got on Twitter. Same thing. and the actual full video doesn't come out until four days later, the only thing anybody cares about is that minute and 30 because he gave them what the audience wants.
Right.
He gave them, oh, look, here's Brittany Renner dressing down Myron and keeping him on the back foot. That's all they care about. They're not going to watch the full video. It's 2-hour video.
2 minutes after it dropped, Rolo's blowing up my phone. I'm like, whoa, what's this about?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like I don't. You can say, well, DJ Academics had it in for them or whatever. I don't care. But what you can't argue is that was bad optics at that point, and they know this. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Michaela Peterson did exactly the same thing to me.
Wow.
Okay. When I was on Michaela Peterson, we had a Zoom call. We set it up. Actually, it was Myron who set it up.
Really?
She mentioned on Instagram she wanted to get me on the show. I went on. I told her, hey, let's set it up in December 2nd. Then December 17th rolls around. We do the show. She's got 2 weeks before she actually publishes the show.
Wow.
And it's December 29th is when she does that. She releases it. To her credit, at least she released the full video. But at that same time, she's on Instagram with Reels. She's on Stories. She's got Twitter. And every one of those clips, those 30-second clips, makes me look like I'm this raging, foaming at the mouth misogynist who said who compared her to Casey Anthony, which was bullshit.
And then, of course, Kevin Ray Wilder. Oh, he lost to Michaela Peterson.
All that matters is that minute 30 seconds. That's all anybody cares about. And that, by the way, anybody watching this who is a red pill creator, a content creator, know going in that if you go to a quote unquote mainstream viral person like Michaela Peterson, arguably certainly is, too. They or DJ Academics or Flagrant 2 or wherever you're going, understand that the possibility of them completely destroying your reputation in a minute and 30 seconds from a clip of a 4-hour show, that is a definite marketing tactic that's going to be out there because it feeds their audience what they're hungry for, which is red meat. So you have to be really careful of that. And I have said this before, and this is my new mentality here. If I'm going to go into the Lion's Den, I don't have any business being in the Lion's Den unless I know my shit. Unless I am 100% bulletproof when I go in there. So there is no minute and 30 clip when that happens.
Right.
Because the moment you're on that one little spot right there, that's going to be the one that goes viral.
Okay.
We also need to probably have like some type of agreement going. Like now that you all went through that, you already got the wounds from that. Now we can learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have some type of agreements before going on these shows that we got to prove everything that's coming out, that's going to see how we're going to be represented.
Kevin's talked about this. I've had conversations with Kevin about this. There needs to be some sort of a dossier, like some sort of a shared dossier. Is that what you're talking about?
Because that will protect us from having our brands looking crazy or whatever like that, just so they can get clickbait. And then when they finally watch the real video,
I did that already. Yes, I did that with Myron in June for the video we did, which was like, how do we come to the conclusions we do? Where's the data? We were cited every source. I did the quote unquote grape culture version in August as well. Right. I said, if we're going to do this, we have to be bulletproof. We have to have our stats. We have to quote everything. And we were like right on the money and bulletproof for those episodes. Did you see them?
No.
Did you watch any of them? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Right. Exactly.
But also, we got to keep this in mind too. Myron and Fresh are new at this, and they're learning as they go. They're getting better with time. And I'm pretty sure they're gonna learn from whatever mistakes that they had that wasn't working. But we can't deny this too. It is working, and they got a lot of people watching. So we can't deny that people actually like watching this. So there is a market for crazy shit because, even Girls Going Wild, even Jerry Springer's got an audience. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maury's got an audience. So we might have to look at that in that category. Like, okay, we got our scholars in the red pill community. We got our music guys.
Okay.
We got our researchers.
Okay.
And we got our wilding out, type of video.
Yeah.
The young guys. Yeah.
I might like that round.
Yo, Jab. Let me clarify real quick. Myron Gaines can run circles around me. He's a successful businessman. I'm an amateur filmmaker. All I'm saying is that he's definitely going to be the boogeyman that the mainstream is looking for.
They already are.
At this particular moment. And I think when I said about the way Myron is in debate, I think they'll always put the Ivy League players up against him. Not always, like Brittany Renner isn't that, but I think if you could be louder than the opposing view, oftentimes the way the public's going to perceive it is like, wow, they were really bodied. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, I agree. I agree. 100%.
I think one thing too I'll point out real quick is Yeah, real quick. I just
we'll go
point
EO then Hotep.
Is you have to learn how to finesse the opposer.
Yes.
Like Michael Jordan, for example, would always finesse all the opposing team before playoff games. Recently, Jake Paul bought Tyron Woodley a Rolex before the fight, so he finessed him.
And then knocked his ass
he bought
out.
him a $50,000 watch just to knock his ass out.
Yep.
And so, and that's one thing I see missing from a lot of Red Pill content creators. There's a very little finesse. There's a lot of anger, and you have to play to their strengths. That whoever you're talking to, make them feel comfortable, finesse them in the beginning, understand their viewpoints. Don't look to just to disregard their viewpoints, but show a level of understanding to their viewpoint, and then deliver your viewpoint with excellence.
Okay, very good. Hotep, I guess you can put a bow on this.
No, I was gonna say I just wanted to hear from EO on this, but you know, to touch on what Rolo said about that DJ guy, I was alarmed when I got the notification that he was going in on Fresh. And it was at that moment I said, does this guy have their best interest at heart? Because I didn't like the clips that came from that, right?
Yeah.
How he was laying it. Like a friend wouldn't do that. Like that's a conversation you have offline.
That's right. Off the camera. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so I was just very disappointed when I saw that. I'm like,
yeah, that's not something I would have done if I were.
Do that to you, like,
yeah.
And then continue to hang out with this cat thereafter. And then the Brittany Renner clip that. The only problem I had with the Brittany Renner clip was she said to Myron, "You're not special," and I think his response was something like, "I never said I was." Right? But my response would have been, "I am special. I'm Hotep Jesus. Yes, I do believe I am special." That's the only critique I had, and I think it could have been twisted. But when he kind of just let her, you know, win that and say, "Well, I never said I was special," when he could have like you said, he had to be on point. He had to be on his
public
toes.
perception. I think that,
but real quick, just to put a whole bow on this.
Yep.
You know, this is not an attack on Myron. This
of
is
course
tough
not.
love. This is tough love.
Right.
And we want to tighten him up because, like you said, he's our late night show, right?
He is.
And we want we as his elder, we want to tighten him up, so that he doesn't get canceled and removed, and none of us have that opportunity. He doesn't have that opportunity. The people that need that information aren't getting that information. So we just want to tighten them up. So this is not personal. This is big brother love.
Yeah, listen, and Myron, he reminds me a lot of myself when I was new to the Red Pill. Myron is so much more like at this stage in his content creation, he is so much more refined than I ever was. But to me, the talent was clear. It literally jumped off the screen. I remember the first live stream he and I did together. We talked about fitness. I called him up. I was like, dude, you have a future in this if you so choose. All right, I'm going to read these super chats here. Then we'll go around the panel and give our final thoughts. Invocator with the $10 super chat. I read this already, but in case we didn't again, says drop your wallet off, guys. Value for value. Appreciate that. Geeky Anomaly $10 says sorry for a bit off topic, but I'm blocked from super chatting on Rolo's channel. Rolo, did you get my email? I sent you the he chose poorly soundbite. I guess Rolo can check his email. Okay. Avery Jones $50 super chat. Says legendary night. Let's go, gentlemen. Respect and peace to the panel. Show the appreciation while they are here. Hashtag value for value. Appreciate that very much. Dr. Thunder with the $5 super chat says super disingenuous article, poorly researched. Jap, you sent that to me. And so I'm going to have to check that out. JBlaze11, $5 says the RP going mainstream would be counter to the media being biased for women. We need dominant role models like the men on this panel to bring it home. I agree. MD, $20 says loving the neo-woke panel with the non-woke panel with Minister Jap and Hotep Jesus, clearly someone who is new to the community. Strike, $5 says Tate is half black. If only they would quit shutting him down. Yeah, right, exactly. The Pimped Out Platypus, $5 says this discussion is fire. Appreciate y'all, fam. Pat Stedman's Polish passport.
That's my boy.
$10 says all due respect to Minister Dr. All due respect to the minister. Dr. Peterson is blue pilled. He thinks his wife is a soulmate. I think it'll get closer to mainstream among black men first. White dudes, too many mix up being tradcon with RP. That I would agree with. Fear to None, $10 with the muscular controller. Full Circle Essentials, $5 says shout out to the panel, 100. And then we have Mr. J, $5 says Kevin Samuels is 50 years old. We've heard black don't crack, but Jesus, the genes on him must have been blessed by the big God himself. Yeah, Kevin Samuels, he looks fantastic. Let's see what else. A couple more. Black Wolf Inc., $5 says the red pill has been mainstream for decades. The rest of the mainstream is just now catching up to it. The RP community always gets the last laugh. Okay. Beastly Nerd, $5 says the mastery of wit, sarcasm, and humor will be your best friend when it comes to debate, is what I've learned over the years. Let us give our final thoughts and tell the people where they can find you. We will start off with Rollo first.
Oh, okay. Well, you can find me on my channel, which probably most of you could have found your way over here
yes.
from there. I will be somewhere doing a very high profile interview on
Miami
8th. Yeah, close. Let's just say. And then book 5 is what everybody's going to ask me about. So yes, I have the Player's Handbook is coming out. It is in approval states right now with Amazon, so I got to make sure that they have to be cool with it. But I think they will be. They're just checking for like grammar and content and stuff like that.
Good.
It's not like, they don't care about.
You have a track record with it too, so it's all good. Yeah.
So that's coming up soon. I'm hoping to have it by next week. We'll see. And then what else I got going on? My Wednesday show will be as usual, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Perfect. And on, I think February the 10th, it's going to be me, you, and Clary on Fresh and Fit in Miami.
Yeah, we will be in Miami on the 10th, and I'm sure I'll have a solo, and you'll have a solo, and we'll have an all-ultimate meeting too.
Yeah, Rollo and I were in studio for that legendary Amanda dressing down
Karen.
Kevin Samuels. Yes, the Giga Karen. Yes, absolutely. EO, tell the people, give your final thoughts. Man. Tell the people where they can find you, brother.
Yeah, good to see everybody. Shout out to the newcomer Rollo.
Yes.
He's new to this show, but he's been in the game a long, long time.
Yes, sir.
A veteran vampire, as I tried to put it earlier. But one thing I would say is more finesse is needed in the red pill.
I agree.
And also, you'll win most of your debates if you make less statements and ask more questions. Because they'll bury themselves at some point, and you won't. Yeah, and you won't be the bad guy when that happens because they'll do the job for you. So I'm Coach EO. You just search my name, you'll find me. I actually have kind of different series for different age brackets. Like Killing the Simp is a popular series I do.
Good, yes.
I'm trying to target the younger guy with that one.
Okay.
Leading the Relationship, a spinoff of LTR, is for that guy, maybe 35 and over. I do have a Player Tips is also a series I do where I kind of help every guy kind of possess and illustrate a player vibe. So I try to target as many different men as possible on my channel. So if that's interesting to you, come on through and give me an opportunity. Secondly, thanks for having me on again for another season, Donovan.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, Coach EO, definitely a big part of this particular panel. Hotep.
I am
Hotep.
That Hotep Jesus dude.
Shout out to Tariq Nasheed, by the way. Tariq, shout out.
I just like to say thank you to the gentlemen on this panel. Still sharp as steel.
Yes, sir.
And these guys keep me absolutely sharp. No Donovan pun intended. Shout out to the chat and everybody super chat and pay their tuition today. You guys are the real MVP.
Appreciate that. Yes.
I am Hotep Jesus. If you like big brain content surrounding American society, I am a social scientist, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/HotepJesus. And again, thank you to all the listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. I always, the thing about having now we have Hotep and Rollo on the panel, and I fashion myself a pretty intelligent person until I'm on the panel with one or both. So even though I'm taking the L for you guys. I look like a fucking idiot between these two guys. Jap, final thoughts and tell the people where they can find you. Yes, sir.
Right. Minister Jap, man. Instagram, Minister Jap Network on YouTube. Monday through Friday, 12 to about 3. We cook, we go in.
Yes, sir.
We have a blast. I'm trying to tone it down, okay?
I'm going to tell you what, Jap. I think you are the only person on this panel who has been deplatformed more than even I have. Yeah. I mean, I'm just. That's
why I'm watching Myra. I'm watching how they're doing this.
Yeah, right. You like laying back in the cut. Okay, they got canceled on that, so I can't say that shit.
Yo, when I tell people about Minister Jap, I be like, about Minister Jackson.
You can't say it too loud. You can't say it too loud. Otherwise, you get canceled wherever you are.
Don't tell nobody.
Did you just say Minister Jackson? No. I said flapjacks.
I'm shadow banned on cell phones. If I call your phone, my number will show up.
He said he's shadow banned on cell phones. It's stupid as hell. Savo, final thoughts and where the people can find you.
I want to say this. I want to say if you found the red pill or you've read the Rational Male or you've come across channels like this and found guys like this and it helped you to better understand female nature and then you found out that female nature wasn't everything you thought it was cracked up to be, if that makes you angry and it causes you to treat women unfairly, that's a you problem.
Yes.
You chose to learn what female nature was all about, internalize it. You chose to get angry and then it was your own decision to treat women unfairly.
There you go.
We're not here to tell you to treat women unfairly. We're living in an age right now where all you can do is look at information and make of it what you will. And I think the best thing you could do is see how much of that information is beneficial. And listen, if you read a book like this, or if you listen to a channel like this, my best advice to you is to not internalize anything as much as just become more observational.
There you go.
And do the homework for yourself in terms of read material like this and then just be observant in your interactions with women. If what you notice reflects the material you read, that's how you know if it's right or wrong.
Okay.
You don't decide whether it's right or wrong based on the fact that you listened to Rolo and you thought, I think Rolo's onto something. Then you listened to a detractor that made you think, I guess he's not. That's not a way to judge it. I'm Savo. You can find my channel, The Adventures of Savo, where I actually have 2 out of the panel here, Rolo and Donovan, did a terrific acting job for me.
Fucking A, man. Definitely check that out. I can't wait to
talent.
I can't wait, dude. I can't wait to shoot another scene. So now I feel even stupider because Savo, I think, is probably smarter than me, even though I'm almost twice his age. Anyway, yeah, listen, this is why I wanted Savo, because we got guys in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s on this panel. Same with my all-female panel. And there's going to be a point in the not-too-distant future where I join the panels together. That is going to break the internet. So we'll talk about this later. My final thoughts on this is what the other guys say. I agree with the fact that, and Rolo, you told me this a long time ago. I will never ever forget this as long as I live. We're at a convention, and who was there at the convention? I think it was Mike Cernovich was there. And I remember I was like, Rolo, come take a picture with Mike Cernovich. And you're like, I'm good. He took me aside in the hallway later and said, hey, look, Donovan, I wasn't trying to be a dick, but you really have to be careful who you're photographed with, because you have to be careful with who you co-brand with. When you told me that at the time, I never thought that I would be where I am now. So I didn't really take that advice. I mean, it's not like I didn't take it seriously. I was like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about who I co-brand with. Well, clearly now I do. And so that's why I've moved away.
That was one of the best lessons I ever learned from Pat Campbell.
Man,
that's where I got that from. God
rest in peace. Yeah. Rest in peace to Pat Campbell, man. We lost him last year. That is gonna do it for this edition of the 6. I will announce the regular day and time for the 6 probably on Wednesday when we can lock down a time. A couple more super chats. Mr. J, $2 says, killing the simp, no more simping. Very good, appreciate that. Cultured, $5 says, I love this is critiques of Fresh and Fit because you see the potential in them, not just shitting on them to shit. Of course not. Myron and Fresh they're friends with everybody on this panel. They're like our little brothers, and we love them very much, and we want to see them succeed.
I want to say one thing that Myron told me on the phone.
Go ahead.
That was real, because a lot of people, they get big and you can't,
get a hold of them.
Yes, he said he's not one of the type of people to get to the top and pull the ladder.
Yep.
So he said anytime I ever need him, whenever I'm ready, he got me. You know what I'm saying? He want to see us all win. So
yeah.
Especially the people who was rocking with him from the beginning.
Of course.
He came through this show. You got Fresh and Fit. You know what I mean? So he's definitely a real one for that. Yeah,
there are some other content creators out there who fashion themselves a kingmaker. Not going to mention O'Shea's name, but we're not going to be petty here. That is going to do it for this edition of the 6. We will see you guys next episode.
Go Niners.
Go Niners. Take care.